Why was his razor in our shower caddy? That was the only question I could think to ask as she stood there, frozen. Water dripping from her hair onto the pristine white tiles of our bathroom floor. She just stared, her mouth slightly agape, the color draining from her face. That's when I knew. Everything I had suspected, every sleepless night spent staring at the ceiling, every gut-wrenching feeling that twisted inside me whenever she looked at her phone, it was all real, and in that moment of silence, her stillness told me more than any words ever could. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. Our story began like a Chicago fairy tale. We met at a crowded bar in River North, shared a late-night deep dish at Lou Malnati's, and fell in love under the city lights. I was a structural engineer, grounded and steady. She, Sarah, was a rising star in public relations, vibrant and ambitious. For 8 years, our life was a beautiful blueprint. We bought a condo in Lincoln Park with a view of the skyline. We hosted dinner parties, traveled, and built a life I thought was unshakable. I adored her. I would have walked through fire for her. Little did I know I was about to. The first crack appeared on a Tuesday. I came home early from a site visit, planning to surprise her. I found her on our balcony, phone pressed to her ear, whispering. The moment she saw me, she snapped the phone shut, her smile a little too bright, a little too forced. She said it was a difficult client. But then came the late nights at the office, the sudden work trips on weekends. The way she'd angle her phone away from me, she started dressing differently, a little more provocative, new lingerie I never got to see. Perfume I didn't recognize. One evening, I found a receipt in her coat pocket from a restaurant on Randolph Street. A table for 2, expensive wine, 2 entrees. The date was from a night she was supposedly working late. My heart hammered against my ribs. It was just dinner, I told myself, a business meeting. But the doubt was a seed, and it had been planted. I started paying closer attention. I noticed how her texts would make her smile, a private, secretive smile that wasn't for me. Her phone, once left carelessly on the coffee table, was now her constant companion, always screened down. The distance between us grew into a chasm. When I'd try to hug her, she'd stiffen. When I'd ask about her day, her answers were vague, monosyllabic. The warmth that once defined our home had turned into an icy silence. We were roommates living in the ghost of a marriage. The humiliation was a constant bitter taste in my mouth. I felt small, foolish. The woman I had built my entire world around was treating me like a stranger, an inconvenience. The breaking point came on a Saturday morning. She was in the shower, and her phone left on the nightstand buzzed incessantly. I'd never violated her privacy before, but I was a desperate man. My hands trembled as I picked it up. No password. Arrogance. The messages were from a contact named Mark. My stomach dropped. I knew a Mark, a smug, slick portfolio manager from her firm. The texts were explicit. They talked about their last meeting at a hotel just off Michigan Avenue. They talked about their plans for the coming week. They talked about me. Does he suspect anything? Mark had texted. Her reply. He's clueless. Too in love to see it. Clueless. That word broke me. I walked into the bathroom and dropped the phone on the floor. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I just felt empty. A hollowed-out shell. I sat on our bed for hours, just staring at the wall, the world crumbling around me. The grief was suffocating, a physical weight pressing down on my chest. I cried until there were no tears left, just a raw, burning ache. And in that pit of despair, something else began to form. Cold, hard, and sharp. Rage. That night, she came home, oblivious. She kissed my cheek, a phantom gesture devoid of any feeling, and asked what was for dinner. I looked at her, truly looked at her, and I didn't see the woman I loved. I saw a stranger, a liar, and I knew I couldn't just leave. That would be too easy. She had humiliated me, dismantled our life, and laughed about it. She deserved to feel a fraction of the pain she had inflicted. So I smiled back, a cold, empty smile she didn't seem to notice, and said I'd handle dinner. My revenge had begun. First, the law. I found the best, most ruthless divorce attorney in Chicago. A shark. I laid everything out for him in a secret meeting. He advised me to play the part of the devoted, oblivious husband. Don't confront her. Don't change your behavior. Just gather evidence. So I did. I became a detective in my own home. I installed a small, undetectable keylogger on our shared desktop computer. I put a voice-activated recorder under the passenger seat of her car. I started a new secret bank account and began meticulously moving half of our joint savings, bit by bit, so it wouldn't raise alarms. The recordings were brutal. I'd sit in my car during my lunch break, listening to her and Mark laugh about me. They made fun of the way I dressed, my hobbies, my devotion to her. They planned a future together with my money. Each word was a nail in the coffin of the man I used to be, forging a new one from steel and ice. I gathered printed copies of their hotel receipts, which I got by accessing her email through the keylogger. I took screenshots of their graphic text exchanges. I built a mountain of evidence so high she could never climb out from under it. The social trap was next. Sarah cared about one thing more than anything: her image. Her reputation as a successful, powerful woman with a perfect life. So I decided to tear it all down on the grandest stage possible. Our 10th anniversary was coming up. For weeks, I planned a massive surprise party. I invited everyone, our families, our closest friends, her boss, her colleagues, including Mark and his unsuspecting wife. Sarah was thrilled. She thought it was a grand romantic gesture, proof that her clueless husband was still wrapped around her finger. She bought a stunning new dress for the occasion. The night of the party arrived. Our condo was filled with laughter and champagne. Sarah was glowing, the center of attention. She gave a speech about our decade of love, her voice dripping with fake sentiment. I watched her, my heart a block of ice. Mark was there, standing near the bar, giving her subtle, smug smiles. His wife was chatting happily with my mother. Then it was my turn to speak. I stood up, champagne flute in hand. I thanked everyone for coming. I looked directly at Sarah, a soft smile on my face. "Sarah, my love," I began, my voice steady. "You always said you hate surprises, but I think you'll love this one." I clicked a remote in my hand, a large flat-screen TV on the wall, which had been displaying a slideshow of our happy memories, flickered to life. The screen was filled with her texts to Mark, the most damning ones. The room fell silent. You could hear a pin drop. Then the audio began. The clear sound of her voice from the car recorder, laughing with Mark, mocking me. He's just so predictable. Her voice echoed through the stunned silence. I watched her face. The color drained away, replaced by a mask of pure horror and disbelief. Her eyes darted around the room, seeing only shocked and disgusted faces. Her boss looked furious. Her friends looked betrayed. Her parents, her mother was crying. I turned to Mark. His wife was staring at him, her expression shattered. He looked like a cornered animal. I let the recording play for a full, agonizing minute before I shut it off. I took a calm sip of champagne. The rest of the evidence, I announced to the silent room, has been sent to my lawyer and to Mark's wife, to the board of directors at Sarah's firm. I looked back at Sarah, whose perfect world was now a pile of smoldering ash. Our marriage is over. The divorce papers will be served tomorrow. I want you out of my house by the morning. Your things will be in storage. I placed my wedding ring on the table, turned around, and walked out of the apartment, leaving her alone in the ruins of the life she had destroyed. I didn't look back. The next few weeks were a blur of legal proceedings. She got nothing. The infidelity clause in our prenup, combined with my mountain of evidence, left her with only her personal belongings. Her firm fired her for misconduct. Her friends and family shunned her. Mark's wife filed for divorce, taking him for everything he had. They were both ruined, socially and financially. I never saw her again. Sometimes, late at night, when the Chicago wind howls outside my window, I think about that moment in the bathroom, the water dripping, the silence, the look in her eyes. It's been a year. I sold the condo and moved to a quiet neighborhood on the north side. I'm slowly rebuilding. But the satisfaction of revenge isn't a warm fire. It's a cold, empty space where love used to be. The last I heard, she was living in a small apartment somewhere out in the suburbs, working a low-level admin job. She had lost everything, and I was the one who had taken it all away. The end.